someone that communicates regularly with people, someone that writes up the documents, a lot of the trust building in an organization, right? So someone that's administrative. And for that type of person, and I'm promising you right now, if you're starting anything, that's basically the first role you want to hire for, a secretary essentially. Because you want to build trust over time and you want to get things out consistently. And there needs to be someone that can do that for you when you're thinking about building the vision. Maybe that's going to be you in the beginning, right? When you're thinking about building the initiatives, actually being at the initiatives, setting them up, doing all that stuff, someone has to be the one communicating that for you. That person can double as the person that makes social media content or posts that stuff out, or puts it in the right Facebook groups or whatever. So that's your admin. The potential that I look for someone in that role is, can they understand not only the nitty-gritty of what needs to be gone out, but how that connects to a larger vision? Are they able to philosophically understand how their role affects the growth of the organization or the growth of the initiative, right? Why is sending out the emails so important? What things need to be included in the emails? What is a call to action? They got to understand that stuff and they got to include it. And they also have to understand to a major degree where everything is located. They got to have a really good organizational mind and making sure that all the things are in the right place. And so when you're looking for someone that has that capability, a lot of us, when we do interviews and stuff, we're like, oh, have you done this role before? They're like, yeah, maybe. What have you done? They're like, oh, well, I did da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, okay, so that should be okay. All right, they've sent emails before and they've sorted some stuff. But what you really want to look for is what they're actually doing in their personal life that correlates to that thing. About being organized, about sending out the emails at the right time, right? And be like, hey, have you put together an event like this? Like in your family, are you the coordinator of the things that happen in your family, right? A lot of them will be like, yeah, I do all this stuff. But you want to see evidence, you want to see proof of that. Okay, show me a time that you've coordinated something like this. And so the reason you're looking for that is because you want to align the job with someone that already innately is good at doing that thing. And even a generalist, for instance, maybe this person's doing admin and social media or something, you still want the generalist to have that passion in the main thing. Very, very important. Because then you're not pushing so hard all the time. And in fact, you don't have to push that hard because you found the right people. There was something that I came across. There's an Asian dude that does like high ticket sales. I forgot his name. But he was talking about that. He was saying, you don't hire for skills, you hire for personality, psychology. You hire for psychology because psychology, the way that someone thinks, is going to allow them to grow into a position. And generalists are always going to have to grow into positions. As you grow, your team's going to grow. So you want someone to have a lot of potential to grow with you. And you can apply that to really any position. After secretary, you probably want to go and, depending on what you're doing, you're probably going to want to do some social media, some marketing. You're going to be probably the salesperson for your organization, right? You're the most passionate about it. You're the person that really believes in it and wants to go and do it. There's no one else that's going to convey that better than you currently. And then after that, you can worry about sales and then operations and stuff like that. But the main thing is always going to be the main thing, is to realize that life is innately chaos. There is very little time that you're ever going to have complete stability. And if you have complete stability, there's a very good chance that we're missing something. And that can be difficult to cope with, but let me give you a strategy for making sure that at least you're not doing all the work yourself. And that's called a pipeline. And if you've heard that term, very good. Now I want you to use it. A pipeline for labor, for human resources, for recruitment needs to always be going. And this is why, that's why I'm saying the marketing is so important. Because the marketing will actually get people to you. If people don't know you exist, they're not interested in your opportunity, you're not gonna be able to recruit very effectively. And I'm telling you this, like spending a lot of money on Indeed and all these other things. At the end of the day, the people that are really looking forward to working for you are going to be the ones that do a little bit of research on what you do. And if what you do is not out there, or in some sort of form that they can view or feel, you're not going to attract the right people. And the pipeline, you just realize a lot of the good people are going to come from references, from your personal network, from just digging a lot. You're going to mess up a lot, and it's going to suck to have to get rid of people. My suggestion is get really, really concrete on what it is that you're looking for in the positions. The more clarity you have on your positions, the less you're gonna have to turn people over, because they'll trust you more, because they'll actually get done the stuff that's supposed to get done. They'll feel good about it, and you can feel good about paying them, or you can feel good about having them around. But that's kind of also goes into operations. I'll talk about that in a second. So the pipeline thing, you gotta always say the position is filled. Okay, say you're good. Always be prospecting other people that can fill that position. Because first and foremost, it gives you leverage. I've thought about this person in a negative way that works with me or for me or around me. Okay, get rid of that person. I can't. They're doing all this stuff. Okay, you didn't make the pipeline. You didn't prospect people to allow yourself to get rid of that person. So important to continue prospecting. And I tell this to my HR interns and everyone like all the time. I'm like, dude, I don't care if this position's filled. You need to constantly prospect. And they're like, but if the position's not available, what am I supposed to do? Well, I'll just be like, hey, we're recruiting for this position. We're doing a bunch of interviews. We'll let you know. You seem really good, we'll let you know. And the cool part is that even if they get another job in the process and you have your people, if eventually you lose your people and they do have another job, they might actually reach out to me like, hey, is that position still available? Now the system, the ecosystem works for you. Okay. It also goes for student organizations, for little things that you're doing. You know, like the freshmen, the first year students, you want to constantly be talking to them. As a student organization, you have to do that because you only have 4 years really to run that thing. And at the end of the day, you're gonna leave, and the freshmen and the sophomores are the ones that have the most energy. And they're the ones that you're gonna want to be like, hey, if you're looking for something, we really need your help, and get them involved as soon as possible into the culture. So that's key, okay? Pipeline. I'm telling you right now, mark my words, pipeline is gonna save your ass. And any position, every position, your position, doesn't matter. Always be prospecting. Last part is operations, checklists, systems, right? So, like I said before, if you don't have clarity in your role, people won't trust you. If they don't trust you, they're not gonna be happy with their position. If they're not happy with their position, you're gonna have more headaches, okay? There's gonna be lack of alignment. They won't show up. They don't care about shit the way that you do. It's just a mess, okay? And mind you, you are very unlikely that you're watching this video if you're an actual systems ops person, like a chief operating officer, because the chief operating officer understands that their main priority is clarity. And so what I want you to think about is, how do I create a checklist or a system where someone can come in, have the potential for the role and the interest in the role, and be able to be successful in their role for the company within a week of being there, within a month of being, within a period of time? How do I do that? And what you're gonna realize is a lot of the dumb stuff that you're like, oh my God, like you should just logically know this. You're hiring generalists, right? We're talking about generalists right now. A lot of the dumb stuff you're gonna have to document. And what's the best way to do that? Get a software like Loom, some sort of screen recorder. You gotta have it. That allows you to capture your audio. You gotta have that. And then start recording all the dumb shit you do for the organization. All of it. I don't care. Anytime you're doing anything for the organization, you should be recording a video. If you don't have videos, start recording videos, okay? That's the first thing to do. You're basically distilling your knowledge. You're also emphasizing to yourself what you are doing. You're paying attention. So you're building the skill set of observing operations, of taking an abstraction and putting it into something concrete, which is what I do when I make these videos, right? That's the utility of Terabify for me, is, okay, you got some knowledge, you got to distill it. You got to put it into a format that actually makes sense. You can't just be floating around your brain, right? And so when you do that and you start creating that, that is the first step. Then after you've thoroughly documented, meaning 3 videos doing the same thing again and again, when you've thoroughly documented that, then you're in a position to make a checklist. And checklists are key, because even airplane pilots have checklists. Why? So they don't kill people, so that there's trust in the system, okay? You gotta have checklists. And the checklist is not there to explain every little detail. It's to explain at a high level what task needs to be accomplished, and ideally, in what sequence the task should be accomplished. Now we're getting into operations and systems. Very complicated stuff. It's an art form. We'll talk about in the next video. If you have any questions about this stuff, post in the comments below. If you need help with this stuff, comments below or DM me. It's actually something I'm really, really passionate about, and I think it's the backbone of building anything significant in life. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. Take care.